Hello everyone and welcome to another wrap-up. So for this one I did not read every single prompt, but that is not a requirement for this one. As you will have seen from the title, this is the Phase 8 reading wrap-up for Phase Out Your TBR that is created and hosted by Chris from Chris's Corner. I will link their channel in the description box. There is also a Discord. If I can, I will link the Discord as well. So this is based off of the game Phase 10. There are 4 sets of prompts. They're coded like with Phase 10, the cards are colored. You have like a red, yellow, etc. So we have red prompts, green prompts, blue prompts, and yellow prompts. So for this one, I wanted to complete as many prompts as I could before the next phase or round. This is bi-monthly. So this took place, it was started in January. I extended it through February. And I'm going to go ahead and end it right now. I am filming this wrap up on March 21st because Chris has dropped the announcement for Phase 9. So Phase 8 was to have basically a run of 7, and this is 7 cards, all the same color. I think what I'm going to do for phase number 9 is, because I have always done these from, like, I've listed the red prompts first, then the green, then the blue, and then the yellow. I think I'm going to switch it, so I'll go yellow prompts first, and then blue prompts, green prompts, the red prompts last, so I can try to fulfill some of the yellow prompts, because right now, I did not fulfill any of the yellow prompts, which is perfectly fine. I did fulfill some of the other stuff. So I'm counting, I did complete, again, this run of 7. I have completed at least 10 of the red prompts. I have completed 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm talking like, I've actually completed 11 of the red prompts. So, like, between numbers 1 and 10, pick your run of 7. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So between the numbers for the green prompts, I completed numbers 2 through 9 plus 2 additional prompts. So either 2 through 8 or 3 through 9, pick your run of 7. I did not complete a run in blue, and I did not do any of the yellow prompts. Again, you can just, do this so that it works for you. Now, I have quite a few books to tell you about. I am not going to go into the synopsis of these books because that's quite a few books. I'm going to tell you what the prompt was and what book I used to fulfill it, and then I'll give you my star rating, the page count, and the hours of the audiobook. The hours that I will be giving you for the audiobook are standard 1 time speed. I usually read it on double, if not 2.5 times speed, sometimes 3 times speed if I'm reading along. I can't do more than 2. Maybe a little bit more than that if I'm only listening. So, but 2 to 3 times speed depending on the book and the enunciation of the narrator. Okay, so for the red prompts, number 1 is to continue a series. I went with 5 Furry Familiars by Lynn Cahoon. Cozy Mystery, 5 stars, 271 pages, 7.42 hours. Prompt number 2 for the reds is disability or mental health rep. I went with a contemporary romance. I went with The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang. Autism. Autism is considered a disability. And this was 4 stars, 314 pages, 9 hours, and 36 minutes. Number 3 is to read a book with nature on the cover. There's trees back here, so that is nature. So with the Rehearsal Fling by Sophie Andrews. This one I gave 4 stars. It was 300 pages. No audiobook when I read that. For a pretty cover, I went with a cover that I thought was rather cute. I went with a novella. I did The Fall Risk by Jimenez. I gave this one 4 stars and it was 77 pages. No audiobook. Prompt number 5 for the reds was a paperback. I went with That Night in the Library. This happened to be a library book. I gave this one 3 stars. It was 270 pages, 8.29 hours. I can only say the author's first name, which is Eva. I have no idea how to say the last name. And yeah, that's all I can say about that one. Number 6 is to read a short book. So I went with a short story. Ebook, I went with Jedidiah and Emma. I I gave this one 4 stars. It was 121 pages. This was written by Emma Morgan. The series title for this is 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. Prompt number 7 of the Reds is to read a book with 5 or more words in the title. I went with Looking After Your Autistic Self, 5 words. Definitely more if you count the subtitle, which is a personalized self-care approach to managing your sensory and emotional well-being. This is written by Niamh Garvey, I'm guessing is how the name is spelled. Could be wrong. This is a nonfiction self-help. So yeah, this I gave, how many stars? I can't remember. 4 stars. It was 243 pages. No audiobook available. I did not read everything in this book because there was one section in this that did not apply to me right now in my life. Maybe at some point, then I'll go back to that section. But as of right now, I read, I would say, at least 90% of that book. It is definitely not a DNF. It's just one section didn't apply to me, and that sometimes happens with self-help books. Okay, moving on. Number 8 was to read a standalone. I went with another library book. This one was October. I read this. This was written by Gregory Bastianelli. I gave this one 3 stars. It was 373 pages. This takes place from October 1st through October 31st, and there was no audiobook available when I read it. There could be audiobooks available now, but when I read them, there was not. Prompt number 9, a book you've been avoiding. I read The Magician's Gambit by David Eddings, only because it's like it was a series continuation and I just wasn't in the mood for a young adult high fantasy for a while, and then I finally picked it up. So 4 stars, 346 pages, and it was 11 hours and 6 minutes. Next is to read a book that was one of your highest rated. I went with Orange Number 2 by Ichigo Takano. I didn't write down how many pages I gave this, how many stars I gave this. This was 500 and some odd pages, but this is the complete work. So this is a bind up of like the last half of the Orange series. So prompt number 11 was to read a book with a weapon on the cover, and this is the one and only red prompt I did not complete. Number 12 for the Reds is to read an adult book, and I did All Systems Red by Martha Wells. I gave this one 4 stars. It was 149 pages and was 3 hours and 17 minutes for the audiobook. And that is all of the red prompts. All right, moving on to the green prompts. Prompt number 1 is to read a lowest rated. I did not do that one. Number 2 is to read a book with an animal on the cover. I went with Death in Dark Blue by Julia Buckley. We have 2 German Shepherds right here. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Right here, 2 German Shepherds. And then there is a cat right here on the chair there. So 3 animals on the cover. Next is to read a book with a single POV or point of view. I went with Keedie by Elle McNicoll. Oh, Death in Dark Blue was, I gave 5 stars. It was 276 pages and 7.53 hours. So Keedie I gave 4 stars, 207 pages. Next, prompt number 4 was to read a book with an even page number. I went with The State of Grace by Rachel Lucas. I gave this one 2 stars. It was 272 pages. This is one I owned physically, but I have since unhauled it. Anything less than a 3-star usually gets unhauled from me. Prompt number 5 was to read a book with LGBTQIA+ rep. My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. The main character, female's best friend, is gay, is in a gay male-male relationship. Gave this one 4 stars. It was 337 pages and it was 8 hours and 59 minutes, almost 9 hours. Next was to start a series. So this is prompt number 6. I read Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett. 4 stars, 503 pages. It was 19 hours and 34 minutes. Next was to read a hardcover. I went with The Little Book of Lykke by Mike Wicking. This was 285 pages, 4 hours, 27 minutes. I gave this one 5 stars. For nonfiction, it was really good. So next was to read a book that you have high hopes for. I did a series continuation. I did Enchanter's End Game. I gave this one 4 stars. It was 372 pages, 13 hours and 17 minutes. Next was to read a book with fire on the cover. This one I went with a library book. I read Above the Fire, so there was an actual fire on the cover plus fire in the title. 3 stars, 225 pages, and it was 7 hours and 39 minutes. This was written by Michael O'Donnell. Prompt number 10 was to read a book set outside your country. I did not use a book to fulfill this prompt. Number 11 was to read a young adult. I went with Castle of Wizardry, gave this one 4 stars. This is written by David Eddings. It was 375 pages and 13 hours and 4 minutes. Series continuation, young adult, high fantasy. Number 12 was to read an anticipated read. I went with TikTok by Dean Koontz. I gave this one 4 stars, 345 pages, and it was 9 hours and 27 minutes. So now we are on to the blue prompts. I'm missing a page here. Oh, I just moved it out of the way. All right, prompt number 1 is to read a book with people on the cover. I did not use anything to complete this one. Prompt number 2 for the blue prompts is to read a newest purchase. I went with an ebook that I recently purchased and I read Bah Humbug. This was a novella. It was 103 pages. I gave this one 4 stars, 2.35 hours, and it was written by Heather Horrocks. This is a romance that takes place within like the week surrounding Christmas, and it actually takes place here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Number 3 is to read a book that is a new to you author. I read The House by the Cemetery, gave it by Lisa Childs, 3 stars, 279 pages, and it was 8.43 hours. This was a library book, so that has gone back to the library. Number 4 is to read a middle grade. I have not read a middle grade yet in 2025, so... Oh wait, no, I did. I read Keedie, but I used that one for a different prompt. So I've only read 1 middle grade, I think, so far. Anyway, next up was to read a book with, so prompt number 5, Low Hopes. I went with Nightlife. I gave this one 1 star. It was 71 pages by Albert V. Saria. My issue with this one, it's poetry. Poetry is very hit or miss with me. And this one was horror poetry. And for me, it did not hit the horror mark for me personally. Probably because it was in poetry format. I just missed. I think for horror, I need to stick with short stories or actual novels. So, good lesson learned. I have read poetry before that I liked. It's either classics or like classic poetry or romance poetry I have enjoyed before. But, or kind of like considered contemporary poetry. But horror, probably not for me as far as the poetry goes. All right, prompt number 6 is dictionary word of the day. I went with flounder, which is to struggle. So I went with a book where the character has to struggle with something. Another library book was On a Quiet Street. Or no, this was not a library book. This was an ebook, and it was a buddy read or a group read for a readathon for Spring Into Reading-a-thon. That's the one it is. On a Quiet Street. This is written by Serafina Nova Glass. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. It is hard hitting. You do have domestic abuse and like someone controlling someone in the domestic situation, which is not right. But it was an enjoyable read. Made me mad where it was supposed to make me mad. So it evoked the correct emotions. I gave this one 4 stars. It was 302 pages and 11 hours and 21 minutes. Prompt number 7 was to read a book with your favorite color on the cover. I did not do this one. Number 8 was to read a book with a map. I read Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Has a map. And I think the map is in the back too. Because it's the end pages. So definitely works for that one. I gave that one 4 stars. It was 498 pages, 21 hours and 22 minutes. Prompt number 9 for the blues was BIPOC Rep. I did not use a book to fulfill that. Number 11 was Water on the Cover. Same thing, didn't do that one. And the last 2 prompts, so prompts number 11 and 12. Number 11 is to read your favorite genre. I have a couple of favorite genres, but one of them is cozy mystery. So I went with 6 Stunning Sirens by Lynn Cahoon. This is book number 6 in a Kitchen Witch mystery, cozy mystery series. 5 stars, 276 pages, 7 hours and 29 minutes. And prompt number 12 is to read a book with an odd page number. I went with Artificial Condition, which was written by Martha Wells, and I gave this one 3 stars, 157 pages, 3 hours and 21 minutes. And again, as I had said earlier, I did not complete any of the yellow prompts. So those are all of the books that I read for Phase 8 of the Phase Out Your TBR Readathon, hosted by Chris from Chris's Corner. Again, I will link Chris's channel in the description box. Highly recommend. Please check out their channel. It is awesome. They do a wonderful job with things, and especially with creating this readathon, it was really fun. So I think what I'm going to do for the next one, because it is a set, so Phase 9 is a set of 5. There's only 4 colors, so which means you need to complete one of the colors at least twice. So I'm going to list the yellow ones first to try to fulfill the yellow prompts first this time. And I'm just going to list each prompt twice and hopefully be able to get my set of 5. You also need to get a set of 2, and that one, it doesn't matter. So that was phase number 8. Let me know, did you participate? Will you be participating in the next phase? And have you read any of these books or books from any of these authors? I don't have any stats for these ones. I didn't write things down the way I should have on this one. I started, but then I stopped. So anyway, let me know your thoughts. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.